Welcome to the Imperfect Dads Podcast. This is your host, Devin. We believe dads care deeply about their family and kids, but they don't always have a space to discuss what their life looks like. Our podcast is a space for dads to discuss the ups and downs of fatherhood and how they feel like they're holding it together or how they're not. Thank you for joining us for this episode. On this episode, we have on musician Devin Shelton, who you might know from the band Emery. We talk about life with 3 kids and how different their personalities are, coming from a big family, taking a break from Emery when he started having kids, understanding his parents and making changes to his parenting style, always having creative ideas in his head, his partnership with his wife while they're on tour, band life in the van and green rooms, and our love of early 2000s music. And also just like one more thing.
Dad, just start the episode.
Oh, my bad. Devin, welcome to an episode of The Imperfect Dads. Thanks for holding down the Devin with the I versus the Devin with the O slot for the episode.
Yeah, no problem.
If you wanted to start off with like some basics, how many kids you have, ages, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I've got 3 kids. I have a daughter, Carolina, who is in 8th grade. She's 13. Son, River, who's 10 years old and 5th grade. And then my son, Remy, who is 7 years old and 2nd grade.
How's 8th grade going so far? I feel like 8th grade is a very pivotal year, or was to me.
Yeah, I mean, you know, after you spend 2 years in junior high, it's like, okay, you probably feel like the king of the school when you walk in 8th grade. You know, at least I felt a lot more confident my 3rd year there. So she's great. She plays a couple of sports and she's just a good girl to, you know, she gets along with pretty much everybody and she does well. So she's the oldest. My oldest is always the one I don't really worry much about, you know. She's a rule follower and she just has her own way and she's confident. And so she kind of paves the way for us thinking that we're pretty good parents, you know.
That's true. I also have 3 kids. I have a 9-year-old daughter, a 7-year-old daughter, and my son's basically 4. So
Okay.
yeah, like the oldest one, if we have someone babysit, we'll tell the babysitter like a gist of what happens, but we're also like, if you just want to ask Holly like what to do next, she'll probably tell you exactly what happens next.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm always like, I don't want to like put that pressure on her of like, you know, being the one to communicate what happens with her siblings, but like she also seems like proud. It's like a job she likes to do. So I'm like, as long as I'm not making you grow up too fast, I feel like that's okay, right?
Yeah. I mean, you kind of, when you're the oldest, you kind of just inherit that responsibility from a pretty early age. It's like, okay,
Yes.
watch your little brother for a couple minutes. I'm going to go, you know, do this. So he doesn't like tear down the house. And then now she's old enough to where she can actually babysit. Now, you know, when she watches her 2 younger brothers, she does well and they typically do okay. But, you know, when they're your own siblings, they have a little bit of a harder time listening to their older siblings. So it's, but you know, she does a good job regardless. So it's fun.
That's awesome. For yourself, where are you, do you have any siblings? Where are you like in birth order?
Yeah. So my parents were married before they got married. So they both had previous marriages. I have 3 siblings on my mom's side. So I have a sister she's like, I think she's 60 now. So she's old. I'm 47. So she's quite a bit older than me. And then I had a brother who actually passed away a few years ago, who was like late 50s. Now he would have been late 50s. And then I have a sister on that side who is about, I think she's like, I can't even remember how old she is, but she's older than me. So
okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Then on the other side, on my dad's side, I have a brother and a sister who are also significantly older than me. And then when they got married, they had myself and my younger sister. So that's a big family, and we're all relatively close. But most of them are half siblings, and then I have my full sibling, my sister. Yep.
So it's like you're the oldest son, but not really the oldest son at all.
Yes. Not at all. Yeah. But, you know, I'm somewhere in the middle there. And, you know, so.
As long as you're somewhat responsible, I guess that's really what we're hoping for.
Oh,
right?
yeah. My siblings all used to call me the golden child for some reason, I guess, because I would always follow the rules. And I was a pretty good kid. And my mom, I just favored me for some reason, or not like directly, or she would always deny it, but you know, they would be like, Devin gets the special treatment, you know, so that was kind of how it was growing up.
I'll do a follow-up episode with your siblings and see how they feel about if they still think
there you go.
They might child.
They probably would say so, but
that's awesome. Do you guys ever do like family reunions or anything like that?
We used to, but my parents have passed away over the
Okay.
past like 5, 7 years, and so we don't really do them anymore. But I do. We still go visit my siblings. I have dozens of nieces and nephews. I mean,
Yeah.
like just never. It feels never ending. I'm like I don't even know who all of them are anymore. I can't keep track because they're just constantly being born. And
Yes.
so, yeah, we have a huge family. So we try to go at least like visit once a year or go meet up at a vacation spot and kind of hang out, for a week. And so, yeah, we stay connected, but, everybody is in a different point in your life and you just kind of have to live your own life and then connect as best you can. So, and I'm the only one that ever left South Carolina.
Okay. I
So
was just gonna
I'm the
ask
one
that. Yeah.
that's kind of not the outcast, but I left
Yeah.
and
You're different.
kind of, yep, yep. So they're always like, are you going to move back? I'm like, probably not at this point.
No.
I
I mean,
mean,
has it been like 20 to 30 years almost since you lived there?
yes, yeah. I mean, so right after college, we moved to Seattle for the band stuff. And then I came back and lived in Illinois since 2006. So it's been basically
Okay.
20 years.
Yeah.
I love South Carolina, but it's just your life is somewhere else. So
I
it's just the way
understand.
it goes. Yeah.
I'm from Evansville, and like I haven't lived there since I left for college. So yeah,
All
similar.
right. Yeah.
Got no complaints with the town. Love it. Love being from there. But if you like go move back, I'm like, I'm good. I'm gonna stay out
Yeah.
here.
Exactly. That's funny.
So does that mean that you've lived in Illinois since 2006? That's primarily where you've raised your kids.
Yeah, we've been
Cool.
here. I mean, we jumped around a couple times from like a town called
Yeah.
Champaign that's a little bit bigger. We live in a really, really small town called Monticello, which is like a little
Yeah.
farm community with like 5,000 to 6,000 people. And it's where my wife grew up, and it's a great small town. So it's like for raising a family and like for the great schools and all that
Hmm.
stuff, it's a really, really good town. So I feel pretty fortunate that my kids get to be raised here because I'm like, I thought I grew up in a small town.
Yeah.
This is a small
That's
town.
a small town. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I love it. I love it.
When you tell people you live in Illinois, do you immediately hedge with saying, here's how far you are from Chicago? Because that's usually the next follow up question.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you live in Chicago. I'm like, no. I'm like, there's a ton of land below Chicago that's in Illinois that's nothing like Chicago.
Not even vaguely.
So, yeah, I mean, I pretty much have to explain. I'm like, I live in the middle of cornfields and soybeans and
Yep.
for miles. So
For miles.
yeah, yeah. But it's beautiful.
I had a friend whose grandparents were from Decatur. So I remember
Nice. Yeah.
going with them once to Decatur, and we went up to like Springfield, Illinois. And just
Yep.
like, yeah, every other time I'd been to Illinois, I'd been to Chicago. And yeah, you go to Springfield or Peoria or Decatur, and it's like, this is what the state actually is. Chicago's this weird like anomaly in the entire state. Does that mean since you have raised your kids there with more of your wife's family, so you've been able to like raise them with knowing like that set of grandparents pretty well? Is that correct to assume?
Yes, yes. And my wife's parents are, they're in their late 60s, early
Hmm.
70s, and they've been it's awesome because my parents were older. So
Yeah,
like, my dad got to meet all three of my kids,
that's great.
but when he passed away, my youngest son was just, maybe two. He was
Okay.
little. And then my mom never even met my youngest son, which is
Okay.
weird. When you think about that, it's
Absolutely.
like she
Yes.
never even knew he existed. So
Yeah.
it's a really strange feeling. But yes, my wife's parents are actively involved. They're great, great people, great grandparents. They live in the same town and they go all sporting events, all
That's
special
great.
school events. So it's nice because they do have an active set of grandparents who are heavily involved in their lives, which I think is very cool and very important.
Yes. We've talked to a couple other musicians who do that same move or make sure to set up shop near one set of parents because
Right.
whenever you're a touring musician, I would feel very badly if I left for a tour for like 2 weeks and was just leaving my wife at home with all three kids. I'd be like,
I know.
go handle all of this. Have fun with
Yes.
this. We're going to stay super connected during this entire experience.
Right, right. Yeah, and it's tough regardless, like
Yes.
with three kids playing different sports, having different events, and obviously, grandma and grandpa have to step in and help out. And they don't mind. I mean, they're like, "Oh, how long are you going to be gone this time?" or,
Yeah.
"Oh, when's your next trip?" And nothing bad or negative, but if it's a longer trip, they're like, oh, it's a little tougher
Yeah, of
on
course.
everybody. So, and I get it. So as we get older and as our kids get older and more stuff, it's like, okay, well, we got to limit our trips and how long they are, do our best to balance all that together.
For career stuff, are you still primarily like a touring musician, or what's your like day to day like job career stuff look like?
Yeah, I mean, Emery is still my primary job. I mean, it takes precedent pretty much over anything else. I also lead music at our like a small little church here in our town. So I used to work at a church when I in like 2010, 2011, I left the band. We were
Hmm.
having our first kid or having our daughter. And I was like, man, I just want to be home and figure all that out. And so I got a job at a church in Champaign that that pretty much worked there for 5 years. I had a good buddy who was on staff there and he kind of helped me out. He's like, yeah,
Cool.
you're good at music. So you could play music.
Please help
So,
us.
and I'll pay you to do that. So we did
That's
that. And
nice.
then I went back in the band and did that more full time, but even, cut back on touring and stuff and then kind of just filled in the gaps with different things here and there. But over the past few years, I've been leading the music at this church we started going to right around after COVID, kind of
Yeah.
settled down. And it just made sense because they didn't have anybody. And the pastor was like, hey, I was like, well, I don't know,
Hmm.
maybe. Okay. And just kind of worked out. So,
That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm also assuming because by 2010, I mean, when did Emery get formed? I always think of you guys starting in like 2002, 2003 or so, or
Yeah.
around that time.
Yeah. We started the band in '01,
Okay.
but didn't really start touring. We got signed in late 2003,
Okay.
started touring full time in late '03, early '04. So that's kind of when we got going.
Yeah. So I would assume by like 2010, you'd already done a good 9, 7 years road life tour, like the
Yeah.
schedule, the cycle of like, all right, release the album, promote the album, go tour the album, like all of that. I would assume by 2010, I also would have been looking up and being like, so I'm about to start a new phase of my life. I'd rather,
Right.
can I take a break? Like this seems a lot more important to me, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. It's one of those things where I mean, for the first 6, 7 years of our career of touring, it was like 200 plus days a year. So it
Yeah.
was like
Not
I mean,
casual.
literally like nonstop.
Yeah.
So and again, like you said, and when you're off tour, you got to get music done, you got to do an album, you got to figure all that stuff out. So it was pretty much year round. And once I got married in 2006, my wife was still she was a nurse, but she was going back to school to get her master's degree and other stuff. And so she was busy as well. So it wasn't that
Yeah.
bad to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
traveling
Hmm.
as much then.
Yeah.
So, but then once, like you said, once we started having kids, it was like, okay, this
Yeah.
isn't attainable. I can't do this for much longer at all. So we just had to figure it out. Everybody had to figure it out. So
Unless you don't want to keep your wife and family. If you don't care about them, then it's
exactly.
great. All
Yeah,
systems
that's a
go.
if that's your goal, then you can achieve that
You can
by
very easily.
touring full time. Yes. Yes.
I've had some friends who do like, yeah, like if you're doing a master's degree, then it's kind of like an end date. It's like, okay, cool. Your wife is in school for this amount of time. So we're going to reassess how this looks, me being a touring musician.
Yeah.
And also like whenever you get out of grad school, you also do have a good year or two of like trying to get your career up and going, having that being your main focus. But
Yeah. Yeah.
once you have a kid, it is kind of like, all right, this takes precedent, or hopefully this takes precedent over everything
I
else.
imagine it should. Yes. And I mean, we're a little different. I mean, most bands that we know or bands that we've toured with, it's very rare for those bands to have like lots of kids. That's not normal for touring bands, at least not at our level and around our level, because I'm assuming life just didn't work out that way. So they were just busy with touring and it just never really happened. And so for us, we have four of our members, are married with multiple kids. So we have three of us have three kids, and our drummer Dave has five kids. So
Dude,
we're
okay.
we're we're loaded. We're
Yeah.
loaded with kids in our band. So everybody, even the guys who aren't married with kids, they totally get it. There's no resistance there at all. And so basically, our schedules revolve around like birthdays and events and things like that. It's like, well, you just have to have this master calendar with all these blackouts, that we have to figure out. So but I'm glad it worked out that way because it's easier for all of us to, since we're kind of in the same boat, it makes
Yeah.
more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm friends with all the guys in the Wild Feathers, a band out of Nashville,
Uh huh.
and I think it's 5 of them in the band, and all of them have kids. So yeah, they're
Oh,
like, we
nice.
could tour a heck of a lot more and miss every event in our kids'
Right.
life,
Right.
and like that's not. I'd rather be at the baseball games. I'd rather
Yes. Yes.
fly out and do like the random Wednesday and Thursday night shows, but be home Saturday and Sunday for baseball games, than
Hmm.
do that full time.
Oh, and I mean, if we hadn't been an established band before we had kids,
Yes.
it would have been different. Like if we
Yeah.
had just now getting going with our kids and stuff, it would have been like, well, we're this just not going to work out the same way. So now it just makes sense for longevity. It's like, okay, well, just kind of fit into the windows where you can make
Yeah.
that work.
And 2010, is that also whenever like some of the guys in your band started like doing podcasting more full time, like doing Bad Christian and all that? Or was that a little bit later?
It was a little bit later. Like,
Okay.
I mean, there was so basically, I think in the early teens, maybe 2012, 13, our buddy from college, his name was Joey, and he was also a part of the podcast for a long time. He and Matt and Toby, I guess it was mainly Joey and Toby, they started a blog back in then. It was called Unlearning is basically what it was called, I think, at first. And they would just write similar ideas of what Bad Christian would talk about. It was just kind of questioning the whole church and Christian culture. And after that kind of got going a little bit, then Matt kind of stepped in, and Matt's always been a little bit more of the what's next kind of guy. Like, what's the next step in our evolution of this? And so podcasting was barely starting to be a thing, and so they delved into that world, and that's when Bad Christian kind of hit and kind of went from there. So, but yeah, that was early in the stages of it. But I mean, it all stemmed basically from Emery, because those are all conversations we were having in the van and in the bus and all those things. Obviously, you're like, okay, well, you're just having all these thoughts about your faith and different reservations about Christian culture. And then even some of the songs we've written over the years, a lot of the songs we've written over the years question a lot of those things. And so it just made sense to come out and start talking about it. So, that's
cool.
literally all we do all the time is talk. Like it's just nonstop talking in our van and bus all the time. Like there's almost never a moment of silence.
Seriously?
Because you'll go on tour with some bands. We've been friends for a really long time. I mean, three of us are from the same town and all that stuff. And so, but you can go on trips with other bands sometimes, and a lot of them will they hang out, but it's pretty quiet and they don't really talk, or they're just kind of listening to their headphones, or they're reading a book or something. And that's all fine and good. But for us, it's like there's no downtime. It's like you either enter the conversation or you just you get left out. So that's how we roll.
That's awesome. I would assume also if all of you guys have so many kids, I'm a stay-at-home parent to my 3 kids. And like part of the joy of doing this podcast is like, oh my God, I finally get to have an adult conversation. This is fantastic.
Yeah, that's a big one.
So I'd imagine that's also the energy on the tour buses. You guys are like, okay, I've been meaning to talk to someone about this book, but my 8th grader doesn't really care about the 3rd book in this series. So let's talk about it now.
Right. Yeah, that's a big part of it. And again, with us being such good friends, like it's almost like a fun vacation kind of guy trip when we go on tour. Obviously, we have to play shows and do some work, but it's just fun too. It's just a really good time. So
that's cool. That's awesome. How often do you guys how many shows do you guys play a year right now, or how heavy is your touring cycle these days?
I would say the past 4 or 5 years, we probably average about maybe 60 shows. So not a ton, but enough to, we generally do about a week to a week and a half every couple of months. And then we'll have festivals fill in and other things like that overseas sometimes. But yeah, we try not to go more than 80 to 100 shows in a year, because that's pushing it for some.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Whenever you guys tour these days, are you guys able to prioritize having your family come out for any legs of the tour or anything? Or do you make your tours only a week or so you aren't gone for too long?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, definitely more the past couple of years, because last year we had a little bit more touring than we had in the previous few years. And so that was part of the deal. It was okay, well, if we're going to do this big stretch of shows, we got to have a time where I can bring my kids out. Everybody's totally fine with that.
Yeah.
As long as it makes sense and everything. And
of course.
And there's even moments where I had something planned, so I'm I didn't go on that leg of the tour. So and we're kind of flexible enough to where we have 6 guys and a couple of us can do multiple things. So if I wasn't there, our other guitar player, Chris, is a really good singer. So he can kind of step up and take some of my parts.
Yeah.
And same for the other guys. So we try not to do that unless we just absolutely have to. But that's definitely something too. But yeah, our kids have been coming out to some shows. Like usually we'll time it to where there's no more than a few at a time, because tour is not like, it's not all glamorous. I mean, it's not
not
like,
it's not actually a vacation.
No. I mean, and we don't pay for buses anymore or anything
Okay.
like that. So we just do a Sprinter van.
Yeah.
And so most of your days are spent driving and sitting in a club, waiting for the show, doing, so the kids are like, is this what happens?
It
We're
is.
like, yeah, this is what happens. It's not that fun all the time. So, but yeah, we love having the kids come when they can, for sure.
Yeah. How do your kids normally react? Like, to me, if I get into like the green room or get a backstage pass to a show, I'm still like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Do your kids think it's cool to be able to go backstage and see you guys? They're like, man, it's just dad doing his job.
They think it's cool. I mean, it's a little bit of both. Like, they've done it a few times, and so it's like, oh yeah, this is whatever.
Mhm.
A little bit of entitlement, because they're like, oh yeah, my dad's in the band, so I just get to go wherever I want. But it's also, when it's a cool venue and a really neat place, they just like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So they enjoy, especially the ones that are like a little different than just a normal club in Des Moines, or whatever.
Yes.
It's like, because they've gotten to go to like they went to Hawaii with us one time, and we
That's
played
awesome.
a festival out there, and a few really cool locations where it's different than just a club show. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, also, like, a lot of venues are just some venues are just big cement rooms. So like they aren't really that glamorous.
I know, yeah. Not at all. And I mean, a lot of times the green rooms are not, they're not huge
It's a
green
closet.
rooms. I mean, we're not like a massive band that's playing like 2,000-3,000 cap rooms. We 500, 600, 700, 800 cap rooms.
Yeah.
And I mean, there, is a tiny little green room and another tiny, so it's like, as long, sometimes that gets a little tight, when you have 3 extra kids with you or something like that. So a lot of times we'll just kind of take the kids out, spend some time out doing some stuff, things like that. So yeah.
But the thought of all of you everyone in your band bringing all their kids and being stuck in a green room closet and like having catering set up somewhere and watching all the kids reaching over each other to grab a sandwich.
That actually sounds like a nightmare, to be honest with you.
Those moments, I am not the most like anxious person, but in those moments, I just want some form of order. That I'm just like, no. Like, I have to create a system now. Everyone stop.
Yeah, I mean, and we're all, we're similar, but we're all different in how we parent and how,
of course,
our boundaries of things. And so, like someone else's kids might be just going insane, and I'm like, what is happening here or something? And their mind might be just like not listening, and I'm being a little hard on them, whatever the case is. But it's just funny because we're all like the uncles, so it's like, everybody's cool with you telling their kids like, hey, just chill out or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, it's a pretty open environment for us. So which is good. It kind of has to be,
Yes. I love how much of parenting is just embracing the chaos. Just being like, you know what? This is going to be fine. We're going to be okay. This isn't the way I wanted it to go, but we're going to be okay. It'll be okay.
That's difficult for me. And at home, like, so my wife is, and she says this all the time, but she's got some ADD kind of things where she'll kind of jump from one thing to another, and she's just all over the place sometimes. And I'm a little bit more OCD, and so I'm like making sure, let's get the bed process started. We're doing all this stuff, and I'm a little bit more like, all right, that's enough. And so and I'm a little bit more of the disciplinarian. Not that both flexible, but we're both try to be. And so, especially with our boys, we have 2 boys and they're 3 years apart. That can lead to some eruptions. I mean, there's plenty of fights that occur for multiple reasons and no reason at all. It's just like, I wanted to hit you in the face, so I just kind of hit you. Yeah. So, but yeah, for me, it's like, okay, I need that structure, and there's times where I'm a little hard on them, and I tell them, I'm like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. That was a little much, and I'm just frustrated. I'm in this, whatever. And my wife is like, when I'm home, she it's just a part of the process. Is like, I'm the one that I get either annoyed or fed up with the situation way quicker than she does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, she kind of zones it out. She doesn't even, it doesn't even pick up on her radar for a lot later than mine. So early on, my radar's going off like, okay, somebody's got to step in here and figure this out. And it just naturally relies on me to kind of handle those situations because I'm already in the situation. But when I'm gone, I mean, I usually within the first day, she calls me or texts me. She's like, Devin, I cannot handle these boys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. See, that's how I feel a lot of times when I'm at home. It's like I'm trying to handle it and I'm freaking out.
Yes.
And so anyway, so
That's awesome.
we have a good teamwork
Yes.
that naturally happens at home. But when one of us is not there, it's like, oh, I see the parts that I naturally just miss.
Yeah.
Being my own person,
You're sitting there being like, don't you see how my anxiety benefits this family?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's funny is I'm not really an anxious person. Like I don't feel anxiety for things that most people feel anxiety for, like in the world or in your life or whatever. But when it comes to my kids, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
My level is like, I feel like I'm rising quicker than some, and I probably get that obviously from my dad or something a little bit, but I try to learn from his flaws that I remember and make those a little bit like
smooth them, just smooth them out a little.
Smooth them out, use the good things that he taught me and kind of reduce the negative things that I remember about it. So
yes, I think it's fascinating because like most of my anxiety around kids is around either cause and effect or physical safety. So like whenever I watch them start to do something like, hey, I'm going to jump off this. And I'm like, this is both of them. You don't understand what you're about to do to your body. So you're going to hurt your body and not grasp what you're about to do to your body.
Exactly.
This is full anxiety for me to be like, stop it. And my wife is like, just let them try. And I'm like, no, I don't want them to try it. That's why I'm saying stop.
Right. Yeah. I have a pretty good balance with that. Like I want them to take some risks and I want them to learn on their own, like make some mistakes and figure that out. And Megan's probably a little bit more careful about some of that stuff. And that's probably natural in a relationship. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, based on our previous discussions, do you not understand that you can't just run out in the middle of the road without looking? Is that something that you haven't learned in 7 years of your life? Because my 7-year-old tends to do stuff like that. I'm like, how did it not come across in my messaging? Like what was I missing? So but yes, exactly.
What YouTube video? Then you're like trying to teach your kid how, like, you don't want to make your kid super anxious like you are. You just want them to understand danger. So then you're like, hey, do you know that a semi truck going 70 miles per hour obliterates your body? And then you're like, you can't tell that to a 7-year-old. That's not right.
Sometimes you gotta take it to the next level just so that it'll just, make an extra little pathway in there for them.
And then just hope. Those are the moments where I'm like, you guys cannot listen to me on a lot of things. That's fine. When it comes to like, I haven't taught my kids how to drive, they're way too young. When it comes to like driving and not running into the street, listen to those. The other stuff, sure, we can argue about it. That's fine. But like, I like you guys. I would rather you not die in a tragic way. That's all I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, that's what I tell them. I'm like, there's some things that I'm learning as a dad as we go. Basically everything.
Yeah.
A lot of these things are first times for me. So I'm not saying I always get it right, or I'm trying to figure it out and help you be a better person and understand how to survive and live and move forward without me eventually. And so, but some of these things I've actually gone through.
Yes.
That I do know better than you. So it would help you out if you actually listen to me in regards to this situation, like running in the middle of the road.
Yes. You know
whatever
how
that is.
Yeah, or to be like, you know how it always hurts when your dad complains about his bad back and da-da-da-da-da-da-da? It's because your dad used to skateboard a lot and fall a lot. So that's why.
Yes, exactly.
I have a friend who has like, I want to say 6 kids, and they would always be very honest about that, of like, about figuring out fatherhood. To be like, no matter how many, sure, we have familiarity with babies and younger kids and stuff like that. Our oldest is still the first time we've ever had a kid that age. Newborns, I can predict a newborn. Sure, I'll learn all the comfort techniques and all that. But like, this is still going to be the first time I have an 11-year-old, first time I have a 12-year-old. And like, parenting has to keep you curious and humble constantly.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And I love whenever a parent seems like very like, oh, I got this. And I'm like, so your kid's going to humble you in the next like hour. That's basically what's going to happen to you, just so you know.
I know. And I saw this video today, and I think I posted it on my stories or something. But it was on a podcast that the guy, he was like, how's it, being fatherhood and whatever. He was like, basically fatherhood, like, reveals your weaknesses. So it's not just like, it's not like you're just learning how to parent or you're learning how to be a dad or a mom or whatever. it actually is like a light on who you are as a person and your actual flaws and weaknesses. So, and that's what I think is really hard for me and for just people in general, parents in general, is like, man, like when your kids act a certain way or they learn or, ignore you or whatever the case is, it's one of those things where and then you respond in whatever way you respond. It's like, there's a lot, at least in my life, there's a ton of reflection in every occurrence. And like I said before, like I've had to apologize to my kids multiple times of like, look, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have responded to you that way and whatever. And I want them to understand, like, cause I had good parents. They were far from perfect, but they were good parents, but they did a lot of things that were, looking back, I'm like, wow, that's kind of crazy that was how they parented or
of course,
whatever. And so I'm sure there'll be plenty of that when my kids grow up too. But it feels like every generation so far, that from my grandparents to my dad and mom to us, it's like, okay, you kind of see, what some of those hard lines were drawn for parents in the previous generations. And I'm trying to soften those up a little bit. Not like fully throw it out the window, but like soften them up to where you like, okay, I can learn from these, but also I can maybe improve in a lot of those areas,
I think how I normally interpret that for myself is like, what was the intention here? I really hated the messaging. Like,
oh yeah,
cause like you wanted to keep me safe. That's awesome. You screaming at me to not run into the street every 5 minutes. I didn't interpret that as you wanted to keep me safe. I interpret that as I was wrong and I was making you mad. So like, how do but also I know because like, yeah, my parents of course yelled at me not to go on the street. Everyone yells at their kids not to go on the street. So I think the other thing with parenting is like, whenever you react to something naturally with your gut, and then you're like, that wasn't me, that was my mom, that was my dad, like that was like their parenting 100%. Clearly coming out through me. And then I do my best to go inward in that moment and be like, all right, Devin, how did that make you feel whenever you were a kid? How did you feel afterwards? Did you like that? Did you not? Did you get the message across? Yes, no, reevaluate. And then while you're thinking through that, your kid runs back into the road again.
Yeah, exactly, that's how it works every time.
It is. So no, I think self-awareness is one of the most exhausting things ever.
Yeah.
Because you have a moment in which you not yell at your kids, you're harsher with your kids than you intended to. And then you do have to go back and I hope everyone goes back and is like, hey, that's not who I wanted to be in that moment. Here's what was going through my head for that.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's all you can really ask for.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the perfect parenting. It's not about that. It's not about making all the perfect decisions for your kids. It's about literally, I feel like it's a partnership, that like, I want my kids to know, like, I'm attempting to do my very best to be your dad, first of all, I got to protect you. Second of all, I got to provide something for you so you survive.
Yep.
And, third of all, I want to teach you to be a human that can exist in this world and leaves it maybe better than you found it, like be a better person than someone else and lead with kindness and all these things. And so those are just the lessons I want to teach my kids. And like sometimes, like my 10-year-old the other day, we were talking about something, like he was like, oh, I would never work at a place like that or whatever it was. I was like, well, you might have to. I was like, at some point you're going to have to get a job. And he was like, well, I was like, to survive. And he was like, well, I survived just fine. I'm like, do you know how you survive currently? Like, do you have any ideas how that survival is, continued for yourself? And he's like, well, yeah. And I was like, me and your mom, we provide basically every single thing that you have is provided by us. Now you are capable to provide some things on your own in some ways, but you don't have any money. You don't have anything. So
you don't get a bank account, kid.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's funny because, they come to these realizations as they get older. And my daughter, who's going to be driving in a couple of years and having to get, she does a little bit of babysitting here and there, but eventually, it's going to be like, okay, well, I'm not paying for all your stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to figure out what you need to do to cover those gaps, so we're in that phase of like trying to teach them, like, okay, we love taking care of you. We love protecting you. We love providing, but this isn't for your good for much longer, like you got to learn to do it yourself. So.
Yep. And yeah, that self-sufficiency, someone having a job, I mean, I think it does helps your confidence,
Definitely.
helps a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's hilarious. Yeah, to the thought of a kid being like, oh, I'll figure it out. And it's like, and then I go overly like literal, and I'm like, how do you figure it out?
Yeah.
Tell
Yeah.
me how. How do you eat? If your mom doesn't work a job and I prepare the food afterwards, how do you eat? I'll make a peanut butter sandwich. How many times will you make? Like, then I'm like, Devin, you're being a
Right.
jerk. Stop it.
Yeah. It's hard to roll back the sarcasm in those moments,
It
but
is. It is. My parents also were very sarcastic, so like, it's my love language, is what I tell myself.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if my wife or children agree.
Well, it's to be a parent, I think you kind of have to be sarcastic at times, or else I'm not sure you can handle it long term.
For Emery, are you guys doing any new music or anything like that? Do you ever do any moments where like you're like in the recording studio and you got to balance that with family life too?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, we used to go to like studios and do all that stuff, and
Yeah.
obviously nowadays that's
A
not
little
really
different.
as
Yeah.
necessary. I mean, like I can record vocals here in my
Yeah.
basement, which I do most of the time.
Cool.
So, but there are times obviously that we have to get together. Being in a room together there's a different energy, and you kind of feed off each other and come up with good ideas and stuff. So, yeah, it's definitely actually right now we're working on lots of new music. We're trying to figure out our 10th full length album is like coming up. This is our 10th one. And so we're like, okay, this is a cool milestone. So
Yeah, it
we're working
is.
through these songs and just trying to figure out what direction we want to go. We've always been a band. We like to push ourselves to just kind of do whatever we feel. There's no real we've never felt like we are really defined by any one sound or anything. So we try to be as flexible as possible with those things. And so we're working through a lot of stuff right now, and probably end of this year, early next year, actually do the recording and release it next year. So that's our plan. It's been a little while, so we've been concentrating on anniversary stuff. So it's
Yes.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
the
20 year.
years of this
Yeah.
and
Yep.
that. So you kind of have to. I mean, it's kind of a moneymaker. That's just the way it is. That's just part of this whole industry. Is like you kind of celebrate what you made 20 years ago or
Hmm.
beyond, and people want to hear it. So
They
it's
do.
like, okay, well, let's enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
it is fun as like a fan of the music and everything. The thing I like the most about like 20, 25 years stuff or albums is, everyone at that show is there for the exact same purpose. Like
Yes,
you
yeah.
don't casually end up at the 20-year anniversary of The Question or something like that.
Yes,
And you're
yeah.
like, how'd I end up here? It's like, you're here for a reason and everyone else here wants to hear these songs. And
Yeah.
it's a really cool energy to be a part of.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
So does that mean you guys normally like, you'll like demo the songs at home? Hopefully then by the time we get into the recording studio, it's more focused.
Yeah, yeah. We do a lot of that where we'll take a trip and we'll write some demos and things like that. But the most part, it's like myself and Toby, our other singer,
Yeah.
who will just kind of be at home, and we'll just kind of we mess around on acoustic guitar or piano, and we kind of get a vibe for something and kind of write some lyrics down or do whatever. And then we build it off that. So we kind of just whittle down what we think are the best ones, the ones that kind of stick with us the most, and just build it from there. And one of our guitar players, Matt, who's one of the original members too, is us three have kind of always worked really well together. And so Matt's and he's written a plenty of music over the years, but he's really good at taking the music and kind of arranging it in a really good way. And then we have Chris, who is also really great at that. And then Dave and Josh, who they're great at specifically like Dave's a killer drummer. I mean, he's just a killer drummer. So he'll take ideas that we have and just level up,
That's
so
cool.
and it's just great. We have a good time doing it. But yeah, sometimes it feels, like being at home, you get in this routine of like everything you're doing, like school and sports and work or whatever. And finding time to work on music or record or feels like a little bit of an extra chore
It does.
sometimes.
Yeah.
And when your mind is kind of milling around with creative ideas, sometimes it feels a little overwhelming for me. It's like, okay, well, I don't really have time to do that. So you kind of have to chisel out some time to just like get that creative energy out, at least for me. And that helps with kind of balancing the home life,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think as I get older, I realized that like whenever I was younger, creativity seemed like I was waiting for the muse at all times, right? Like I was waiting for the moment of inspiration, then I grab a guitar, play through something and be good. Now as an adult, it's like, so I'm hoping sometime during the day, which every hour has something to do, I'm going to be able to step away to be creatively influenced, or hope that at 10 p.m., whenever everyone's finally asleep, I'm going to somehow want to pick up the guitar then. Neither of those are realistic.
Yes, yes. I mean, that's the thing for me is like I'm the kind of guy that I always kind of have music floating around in my
Yeah.
mind, or if it's a new idea or something that I can't quite shake, it'll just kind of always be in my mind or like in the back of my thoughts. And I'm always when we're in the car going somewhere, like I'm just drumming on the steering wheel, like literally the entire time that we're in the car. And my kids are like, "Dad, can you stop banging on this?" I'm like, sorry, you know.
Sorry.
So yeah, it's hard to separate the two, but I
It is.
try to make time, you know, for that as
Yes.
well.
What instrument do you primarily play in Emery? I can't remember right now off the top of my head.
I play bass
That's what I thought. Okay.
and sing. I mean,
Yeah.
me and Toby are the vocalists.
Yeah.
But I used to play guitar early on, and then our bass player left the band, and I just, instead of adding another member, I just moved over to bass. It just made more
Yep.
sense. So yeah.
I love that also because like I grew up doing church stuff, playing guitar and church stuff, and I learned bass because someone would be like, "We have 5 guitars," and I'd be like, "I'm gonna go figure out bass for this song because
Yeah,
we
exactly.
don't need we're good.
Yeah.
We can figure this out with what we got in house."
Yes, exactly.
That's cool. What do you like playing more? Do you like playing bass or guitar more? Different worlds, I know, but yeah.
It's different. Like I play guitar like when I play at church, just because it's a little easier, like when you're leading stuff
Yeah,
and all
absolutely.
that. It's like it just makes a little bit more sense. But I do lead from bass quite a bit. But obviously I sing and play bass all the time in Emery. But it's just a different thing with bass. It's a rhythmic instrument, so you're always trying to solidify with the drums. You know, you're trying to really lock in with the kick drum and things like that. And there's some bass rhythms that are kind of tricky with what you're singing for me. So like that keeps me a little bit more on my toes sometimes when we're playing live. So there's a little bit of that I like, the challenge of it, you know, when there's some of those moments. And I always feel like a little bit more when I'm playing bass with the band, it feels like there's a foundation to something you're doing.
Yeah.
Obviously everything is equally important, but it's like there's something different about the bass when I'm playing it that it feels different to me. And so I probably prefer that, at least in a band setting. And then when I'm doing anything solo or something else, probably a guitar.
Yeah. Now I always feel like bass, drums, the rhythm section are kind of like the spine of the song or like the anchor of the song where they hold everything together.
Yes.
And if the bass and drums aren't in tune, I, as a music nerd, notice immediately and pay attention to that.
I mean, it's a huge thing. I mean, it elevates the music so much more when they're really playing together. It's great.
Yep. I feel like that made me gain a lot of respect for like pop music because I'm, snooty, elitist, all that good stuff. And like would go see like a pop musician play a song and I'd be like, wait, that bass and drum section, wait, this is actually, I've been a jerk. I need to pay more attention to this.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some solid musicians in every genre. So, I mean, there's different formulas for how they write them, but good musicians all over the place.
Yeah, there are. As far as your kids go with creativity, are any of them showing any interest with music? Or are they more like sports heavy right now?
My daughter has been taking piano for a long time. So I think she's taken piano lessons for 7 years.
Okay, cool.
And her teacher is great. She's like this little lady who is just like she's just very regimented, but like super nice. And her presentation is great. But so like my daughter will just listens to her so well, I mean, she listens to everybody, but like her specifically is like, oh, she's really getting through.
That's cool.
Just the way she kind of teaches. And yeah, so my daughter is I mean, I can play piano enough. Like I know how to play, but I'm not like all over the place. But my daughter's way better than me. I mean, she's like way, way better than me at piano.
Cool.
So, and she reads music and I try to stretch her to like, hey, try to figure out this song, just by listening to it. So you can figure out what that progression is or stuff. Cause that's really where I feel like I learned music the most is like cause I went to college for music. I was a vocal performance major.
Okay.
And so that's where I learned theory and everything, and that's what kind of got me out of my shell in a sense of like hearing music for what it was. And you start to understand what you're hearing. So like, whenever you hear a song on the radio, I know, oh yeah, that's a 1, 4, 5, 6 progression. Like it just comes naturally to me now. So I want her to kind of feel that as well as she gets older and as she, plays more music and stuff. And my sons, they're both very musical. Like they can sing, they
Mhm.
have really good voices. They love to listen to music, and you can tell that it kind of gets them going, And so, but they're not interested in playing anything right now or really taking any lessons or anything. And we're not going to force them to. But, I'm like, I try to nudge them, be like, hey, you should sing in the choir this year just to see,
Mhm.
if you like it or whatever. But yeah, they're just not really, they're more sports heavy and
Okay.
and video game heavy, So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, that's where their interests lie right now. But I think they'll get into it probably as they get a little bit older. I think
Yeah.
they'll show some interest. Yeah.
I think once they realize that they can form a garage band and get away from
Yeah.
parents by playing music in a garage or in a basement or something like that, because I played guitar like in high school. And then once like I had friends who were like, hey, do you want to come over and play? I have my drum kit set up. That's whenever like the hour long just jam in, doing whatever in a basement
Yeah.
for hours started to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun. I didn't play any instruments in high school.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't play anything until college. I had to take piano class for my major, and then I just learned guitar because I was like, oh, it'd be kind of nice to be able to play around on a guitar. And so I was all just a singer until then.
Okay.
So I think at any point in your life you can kind of
You can.
decide which direction you want to go. So
Yeah. In multiple areas of life, not just music.
yes, exactly.
So I'm trying to remember with your discography and everything. Did you guys record an album with Ed Rose in like Eudora, Kansas? Did you do an album at was it Red Door Studio?
It was
Black Lodge, right?
Black Lodge.
Black
Yeah, Black
Lodge, that was it.
So yeah, we recorded our first album there.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, so we had moved to Seattle in 2001, and then we were still writing our album, and we were like meticulous about like every single song, every single part. Like we just went through it for a couple of years. And 2003, we became big fans of the whole emo genre and indie rock, and that was the stretch of time that we were like, man, this has just opened up a whole new world for us.
Yep.
And so we became big fans of a lot of the bands that had recorded with him. And we were like, well, why don't we just go there? I mean, we didn't really know Aaron Sprinkle at the time. He was out in Seattle. But then after we recorded our album, we got connected to Tooth and Nail. And so, yeah, Ed, that was great, man. We loved working with Ed. We recorded our whole first album with him in 2 weeks, just the weekdays. From 8 to 5 every day.
Okay.
He was down to business.
That's
so
cool.
It was like, but yeah, we loved it. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was a great first experience.
I still am a pretty big Get Up Kids fan. So I remember them like taking over the studio, Ed Rose being a part of it. My wife went to Kansas for grad school. So like 2010 to 2012. And whenever she's like, I think I'm going to go to Kansas, I was like, oh, Lawrence, Kansas has a phenomenal music scene, and like started ranting. And she was like, calm down. This is about me going to grad school and not you wandering the streets looking for Matt Pryor. Just calm it down a little bit.
Yeah, Lawrence is a cool town, man.
It is.
We loved it there.
Yeah. But no, that's cool. That's I had to get at least one music nerdy thing in because I think almost every album that Ed Rose recorded in those like 5 years or so, like 2000, 2005, 2006, I feel like I was obsessed with. And I'm like, oh, wait, you guys are one of those albums. That's great.
Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah, he did like Appleseed Cast and all that stuff. And
everything.
We were just like, oh, God, it sounds so good. So, yeah.
Which I'll try not to turn this into too musical, but yeah, Appleseed Cast, very easily forgotten band that I think does some beautiful guitar work that he captured like brilliantly.
Yeah. We played Furnace Fest a couple of years ago. We're playing again this year, but they played Sunny Day Real Estate played, Appleseed Cast, Mineral, who were all these early emo bands that we loved.
Yep.
And Appleseed Cast was phenomenal. I mean, they just sounded so good. And we were just like, oh, this is amazing.
It's just if you ever want to nerd out about those bands, I'm here for it.
Very cool.
Anyway, there's my side tangent that I had to go on at least once. So anyway, Devin, how we end every episode is we ask every guest a series of 5 questions.
Okay.
They aren't like rapid fire. You can think about everything. There's kind of some fun questions to think about. The first question is, did you have any backup names for any of your kids? Like any names you almost named your kids?
Yeah. Carolina, our daughter, it was pretty set. We had a couple other ideas, but Carolina won that out pretty easily. River was the main one. I think another idea I had was like, there was a couple I threw out there that my wife was like, nah, I don't think so.
Yeah, we're good.
It was like Jesse or something. No offense. I like Jesse still, but she was like, nah, I don't think so. But then our youngest son, we did not decide until the last second. I think we decided when he was born.
Seriously, until you met him?
Yeah. So the top two names were Remy, which his name's Remy.
Yeah.
And Finn. And
Yeah.
so, and we were like, let's just kind of wait, like you said, till he's born, and we'll decide then. And so we asked our middle son River, like when he was born, we was like, all right, River, Remy or Finn? He goes, he's Remy. I was like, all right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was probably the closest one we had to a different name.
That's sweet. I love my kids getting older and then being able to communicate their opinions. It just makes fatherhood and life so much sweeter. And it makes it feel like you're on a team. It makes you feel like you're in this together. And that's so cool.
Yeah. It's amazing.
It is. Okay. Next question. Do you have a favorite TV or movie dad?
TV or movie dad? That's tough.
You can do book also if that helps expand your, knowledge or anything.
So probably would be a TV dad is my guess. I was probably without digging too deep, I would say Danny Tanner from Full House. Bob Saget, man, he was.
Whenever you said Jesse, I was like, after Uncle Jesse in my head. So whenever you said
well, that probably inspired it a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. Speaking of potential OCD tendencies,
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Do you have a go-to replacement curse word? Like, let's say you stub your toe in the house, your kids are nearby, and you're about to say a curse word, but you choose something else. What do you choose?
I probably say son of a gun. I say
son of a gun. Yep.
And I'll say gosh dang it sometimes. It's like gosh dang it. I don't say GD normally, but like gosh dang it is just something that comes to me sometimes. So a couple of those, son of a gun, maybe.
Yeah. Dadgummit is another solid one.
Dadgummit.
It just makes you feel like you're like a 60-year-old man who's just like grumpily sitting somewhere like, oh, dadgummit.
I love those old man slang. Those are just the best.
They are. And it confuses your kids so much. They look at you and like, what did you just say? And you're like, it's more important what I didn't say in this scenario.
Yes. My wife's dad, he says sheesh all the time.
Okay.
Sheesh. I think it's like a Midwest farmer word.
Oh, there he goes. Sheesh. Look at that guy.
Sheesh. Exactly. Yeah.
Just other side tangent. How different do you feel like Illinois is versus South Carolina? Because I know you said you grew up kind of like in a small town as well.
Yeah. It's, if you just say Illinois, if you're disregarding Chicago, then it's not that different. I mean,
that's what I thought.
My town is very, very similar. There's tons of farmers, just people who are just country folks. You know what I mean? They're not trying to impress anybody. So, it's not that different. And even some of them have a little bit of a country accent. It's not Southern, but it's like a little bit lazy or a little bit something like that. So it even reminds me of it sometimes, for sure.
Yeah. Now I'm from Southern Indiana, was very close to Kentucky, and going to Belmont, people would be like, "Oh, you're a Northerner," and I'm like, "Southern Indiana is just farmland, like it is here, guys. Like it's not that different."
Yeah.
You guys just have prettier recordings, or you actually have recording studios that are really pretty, which you don't really find everywhere.
No.
Okay, next question. What's like one of your favorite kids' toys or activities that you do with your kids?
Kids' toys or activities? Toys aren't really a thing as much anymore.
Yeah.
So my youngest son, he's still at the age where he just wants to play a lot.
That's cool.
Which I enjoy doing. I mean, sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm done in the moment. But he loves to play baseball. So I pitch a lot of, wiffle balls or foam balls, and he hits those in the yard. I mean, he plays real baseball too, but we've been on the pickleball kick lately. So they've been really enjoying playing pickleball, which I've never played much before the past couple months. So it's fun. I enjoy it. We have a good time.
Still have yet to get into pickleball. Is it pretty fun?
It's fun. It's like between ping pong and tennis, It's just like you hit it a little bit harder than you do in ping pong, and the courts are smaller than a tennis court. And so, and the rules are a little different, but we're not playing tournaments here. So it's not like we're trying to kill each other, but it's fun. No, for me, it's like this activity, that you're running back and forth, and the kids enjoy it. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Are you that competitive of a person in sports?
I'm competitive with myself in sports.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
So like if I played baseball and basketball growing up, and I'm very competitive with myself. So if I have a bad game or I don't play well, I'm just kind of hard on myself. But when I play with my kids, I'm like, I don't care at all. Like I'll just let them, like I'll give them some competition and play and stuff like that, and I'll let them know like, hey, I'm gonna play a little harder.
Yeah.
We're gonna give you a little bit more pressure here.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I'm like, I'll let my 7-year-old drive to the basket and make a shot, whatever.
Yeah.
My wife's not really that way. She ain't trying to lose. So, it's just funny. Yeah. It's because I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
I'm like, and also he's probably going to start pouting for the next hour.
Yeah.
Because
you know
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, we try to teach the lesson of like, okay, we don't always win. Winning doesn't matter. But it's like, okay, but now I got to deal with him, walking around with a little pouty attitude for a while. So
if I'm playing Mario Kart with the kids and I'm like in first and one of my kids is in like second place or something like that, I'll like stop at the finish line and be like, all right, do you want me to win or do you want to win? Like, and then we'll be like, we want to win. And I'm like, cool. Just like, I'd rather you guys have fun. Cause like, what do I gain from showing dominance over my children? Like nothing.
I'm the same way.
So like, I'm good. And like, if I want to do something where it's like, I need to win this, no, like up your competition. Like that's not connection at that point.
Yeah. Every now and then they'll say, all right, Dad, I want you to try. I'm like, okay.
Okay, here we go.
So as long as you ask.
Like, just know, I was trying to keep this at bay, just so you know. I'm also, I'm pretty tall. I'm 6'4". None of my kids are like, so like, if they're like, this play basketball or something like that, I'm like, I can block your shot from anywhere on this court. So I'm good.
That's
okay. And then last question is, as you think about your kids getting older, growing up and everything, is there any moment you're really excited for them to experience or to witness them walk through, or any phase of life you're excited for them to come into?
It's hard because the experiences that I want them to have, like leaving home and going and seeing the world and figuring out everything, because a lot of people don't get to do that, or they don't want to do that. A lot of my family, they never left or really did anything other than just there, which is fine. But also I'm like, man, it's really valuable to like see the world and meet different people in different places. And so as much as the thought of that makes me sad, also that's like exciting. I'm like, I can't wait to hear what they think about that place or that doing that thing or going and meeting those folks in that location. It's like just seeing the whole, not just the country, but other parts of the world and everything like that, which we travel some as a family, and that's great. I love that. I mean, I love to be able to experience it with them, but just at the point in life, whether they go to college or whether they don't, or whether they move away with their family or get married, whatever the case might be, that whole process of leaving the nest and doing their own thing, I'll be so proud, but also like, I'll probably be crying for, just weeks. I'll just be inconsolable for a while, but I am excited about that as well, because I know how fun it can be from my own personal experiences. Like, this is so exciting, getting to do something new and fun.
It is. I'm fascinated to see how I do at that moment also, because I also think that college was like the first where I formed my identity the most, right? It was like getting out of the house, getting those new experiences. And to be on the other side of that, of being the one who stays home and watches the kid leave the house and you're just hopeful the entire time, I'm equally looking forward to it and not looking forward to it.
Exactly. That's exactly my thoughts.
Like, I'm so glad you're going to do this. But also, if you want to be within driving distance of like 2 to 3 hours, that'd be great. And
I'm totally fine with that. I'm totally fine with that.
One of my daughters hopes to is right now she's talking a big game about being a vet. We live out in Denver suburbs. And she is like, oh, I could maybe go to Colorado State, which is like an hour and a half away. And we're like, that's great. You can get in-state tuition, you can get scholarships, and you can be within 2 hours of us. We're going to feed this dream. Let's do this.
Nice. Yeah, my daughter wants to go to Illinois State, which is that's where my wife went, and it's only an hour away. So I'm like, that's fine. That sounds excellent.
That sounds great.
Yeah,
no complaints here. Let's keep doing this.
I might just show up a couple times a week to have lunch. So just so you know, I might show up.
Yeah, and if you need to refill your pantry or your fridge or something like that, we can do that too. Just include me. That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then to end out the episode, I just moment for self-promotion. So like if we want to listen to your music, find your like Instagram to follow you more, learn more about you, all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Emery, you can find us pretty much on any streaming platform. We have tour dates coming up in September and November. We're playing our album, The Question. It's the 20-year anniversary of that. And so we're heading down to Texas and back up to the Midwest. And you can find all that info on emerymusic.com. Pretty much everything you need is emerymusic.com, or on our social medias. Just search Emery and you'll be able to find it. So,
Sweet. Yeah, man. But Devin, thank you a lot for your time. Thanks for sharing some stories with me. And I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Of course. Great.
Yep.
Talk next time. All right, Devin?
Okay. See ya.
All right. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at the Imperfect Dads Podcast, and make sure to subscribe and rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to us, such as Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. The music is provided by The Wild Feathers, and all episodes are produced by me. Make sure to tune in Mondays for new episodes.